welcome to this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through their industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Ilene Marcus, author of Managing Annoying People and runs Aligned Workplace and helps leaders and founders use innovation to attract and keep great talent. Welcome to the show, Ilene.
Thank you, AJ, for having me. So happy to be here.
You are welcome to the show. You are welcome to India in this online form. And I'm sure not just in India, but a lot of people across the globe, including the US, a lot of people across the globe will benefit from your experience, the way you have lived life, and the way you are adding value to everyone's life. So today we will be talking about managing annoying people and also how one can manage annoying them itself. So my first question to you, Ilene, is to understand what is managing annoying people. Who are annoying people in today's time? How do I know whether they are annoying, and how do I know when I'm getting annoyed? Is it the problem with others, or is it a problem with me?
You know, you hit the nail on the head. It's both. It takes two to tango, right? They show up and they annoy you. Confucius said, when we get salt thrown at us, only the open wounds sting, only the open cuts. And that's what happens with an annoying person. They remind us of a mother, a sister, a teacher, an aunt, someone that drove us crazy. And it happens both ways. It's within us and it's their actions. Sometimes people are just annoying. They chew their cereal. I can't say that word. They chew their cereal really loud, or they come in with a lot of papers and books and they annoy you. But it is both. It's the way the person shows up and it's what they're throwing at you that is getting into your wounds that makes you react. And that's the problem.
Right. So let's look at 2-3 situations here. One is life within friends and family, and one is in the workplace. Those are serious. That's the serious stuff where there is not many times you get the second chance. How do I know who are the people who have the liberty to annoy me, and who are the people who do not have the liberty to annoy me? How do I look at it from a matter of perspective of grace, as well as from a perspective of getting the work done, especially in the workplace?
Yeah, that's a great question, a great way of thinking about it. Because the bottom line is no one really has the liberty to annoy someone. Annoying is a gateway to anger. If you look at feelings, in the workplace for years, we talk about anger, bullying, bad boss, tough boss, nasty. No one looks at what comes before that. No one shows up one day and starts yelling at you. It starts little. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Why is that happening? I don't like it that way. And then all of a sudden it's, you suck, right? So the annoyance comes before actually the anger. So you have to look at that about where is it coming from. And it usually goes when someone isn't heard or doesn't feel seen, right? They feel ignored. They feel that they're not valuable, and then they feel annoyed that they're not being listened to. And it happens both ways. You made a really good distinction. In the workplace, right, your boss is supposed to give you the tools, the skills, the resources to get you to go somewhere else. In your family, they're supposed to love you and support you. In both places, I can guarantee you one thing. You will get annoyed. Someone will annoy you. So what's the difference in the two situations? In work, there is a hierarchy. You are not the boss. One person is the boss and one person isn't. And even the CEO or the leadership team reports to someone, a board of directors, a funder, someone higher, sometimes the public, right? Something, public opinion. So everyone has someone to work to. And it's not okay to annoy. It's okay to get angry. It's okay to get frustrated. It's okay to get upset. It's okay to talk about why the work isn't progressing or what someone's doing. Every time you talk to me about the numbers, you forget to talk about the impact on people. You just give me the math. That's okay to get mad about. What's not okay is to be mean, to be degrading, and to get to the point where you can't hear each other so the work can't get done. And frankly, that is incumbent on the boss. Even if the boss is the one doing the annoying, it is their job to take their people. This is Henry Kissinger says this, not me. It is their job to take their people from where they are to a place they have not been. So the boss must stand back, get into their, better power and be able to get out of that gridlock. Want me to keep going? Because I can. In your personal life, with your family, it's a little harder, right? We joke. Your family installed those buttons. Your family is the one who said what's going to annoy me, what's going to hurt. You grew up with them. And it's a little harder in our family. At work, we often, have like a professional guise. And I want to talk about professionalism in a minute. We often have a little bit of they pay me. Am I going to lose my job? Am I going to get in trouble? Given COVID and online work and everything happening around sex, gender, equity, all this stuff, people, are less scared to stand in their power and say this was not right. But that has a double-edged sword because that means that people are less scared to be truthful, which gets the work less done. So there's a way of saying things. And my mantra is say what you mean what you say, but don't say it meanly. And that is the exact same with your family. In our family, we have less of a veil between us. And sometimes, even though we are taught to respect our elders or we're taught to love our sisters and brothers, we just let loose. But it's the same thing in your family. The older person, the parent, the older sibling has to take responsibility and say, this is not right. I want to get along with this person. I love this person. I have to better manage myself to stop this fighting, just as the boss has to step in. Let me.
Right, right. Well, yeah, carry on, carry on.
Can I
Yeah.
say a word about professionalism? A lot of people talk about professionalism, and they have a lot of big words that go with it: integrity, expertise, all these things. When I meet with groups, and to this day, and I'm sure in India too, there are a lot of workers, some skilled, some trained, some untrained. To me, professionalism only has one meaning, and that is what drives business forward. And that is the ability to take whoever you're working for, their mission, and incorporate it into yourself to move the work forward. That is the nature of professionalism. Some people do it with skills that they learned in college or university, and they have expertise. Some people do it by their brawn. They can lift, they can carry. But professionalism is not about how I necessarily talk to you. It's about how I integrate what that work is into all I do to move the work of the organization forward. And that's where the focus should be. Is this right for the organization? Not, is it right for me?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know this whole space, especially the workplace very, very well. 32 years in executive positions, managing high stake teams at multi-million dollar organizations, from turning around a 10,000 person social welfare agency to traveling the country for Techstars, a lead seed accelerator. So many things you have done, 32 plus years. So I want to understand from you, when we are talking about annoying people, we also hear a lot about toxic behavior in workplaces. How do you differentiate between annoying people and toxic people or toxic behavior in workplaces? Is annoying people the beginning of the toxic behavior, or which one comes first? And how do you know this is annoying or this is toxic? What is the time I should know that this is not the boundary, this is the boundary that one should never cross?
Another great question, but I have a fine line. Toxic behavior is anything that's immoral, incompetent, right? And immoral, incompetent, and illegal is toxic behavior. If it fits that line, it's definitely toxic. How does annoying behavior become toxic? And it does, AJ. Perfect segue. It becomes toxic when the boss doesn't look at it, lets it go, lets it fester, right? Annoyance becomes into anger and people ramp up what they're doing. And it becomes toxic when the boss looks around his team or her team and someone is annoying. Let's go back to that person who's chewing cereal really loud at a meeting, or I don't know what it would be in India, they're, what are they, whatever they're doing in the meeting, they shouldn't be doing. It's really annoying. Maybe they're picking their fingernails. It's something that really shouldn't be being done in the meeting. But when the boss looks at the team and laughs with them or rolls their eyes with them and looks at that person and says, oh, I can't believe they're doing that, that's the beginning of toxic behavior. Because what the boss is doing is opening up the floor for, at first, the other members of the team say, oh, yeah, he's so cool. She's so cool. Look, they get it. They get it. But very soon, the other people that the boss is on top of realize that person can turn on me. That person can do exactly to me what they're doing to this person and ostracizing them from the rest of the team. And that's when it becomes toxic, when it impacts the culture, when people are scared to show up, when they don't trust the boss. That's when it becomes toxic. If
Right.
someone is right, that's the answer.
You were saying something. If someone,
Well, I was going to say, if someone, shows up that way, right? Like toxic, like they're already, like I really think that anyone who really shows up toxic, bullying, loud, anti to what the culture is, then that really falls in immoral, illegal, or incompetent. And that's clear, and you manage them out. But it's these behaviors that get under your skin. And I say they fall into three categories. They can be a mirror. That's the hardest one to see. They remind you of you, and you don't like that part of you. They can be a reminder. They remind you of an aunt, maybe your mother, maybe a teacher you had, someone, a brother, a sister that really, did something that just got under your skin. You're just, so oil and vinegar, you're not meant to mix. Or they can just be truly annoying. I had one person that talked to me that talked like this whenever they were briefing me. Very slow. I wanted to pull the words out of their mouth, especially if we were in a crisis. It wasn't really anything they reminded me of, anything that I did. It was just that was annoying. So you have to really be able to know yourself. That's where the managing me comes in. What are my triggers? What gets me started? What sends me down the path of acting crazy or getting more frustrated or rolling my eyes so the rest of the team starts that reaction of, oh no, soon he's going to be rolling my eyes at me or she's going to be rolling her eyes at me, and I don't want to be part of this. So it's really about knowing yourself and knowing your triggers. So I have a little thing I use for that. There are 4 F's, right? And the 4 F's are: when someone annoys you, do you fight? That's me, I fight. If someone annoys me, I come right at them. Not toxic, but why are you doing that? And what are you saying? And let's move on and get out of the meeting, right? I'm like, I want to fight. Some people freeze. They say nothing. They say absolutely nothing. And then what happens? Other things happen around them. They get angrier and they go back and do something else. They get mad and they work behind the scenes. Other people flee, they run from the situation. So they're never present. They don't do what they're supposed to. They don't face the person. And the 4th F is to focus. You're really supposed to focus on, why am I being annoyed right now? Why do I feel this way? I want to fight. I want to freeze. I want to flee, but I'm going to sit and do what I said before. Say what you mean what you say, but don't say it meanly. When you talk that slowly, it takes up too much time in the meeting and you frustrate everyone. Either speak quicker or put it in a memo and we'll read it later. Thank you. So it doesn't become a problem.
wonderful, wonderful, Eileen. To understand from, annoying people, what do annoying people want from you whenever they do something that sort, which is either words or action, which they know will impact you? Because every action must be having some purpose, directly, indirectly, psychologically, there must be some aim to it. How do I know what is their aim?
Yeah, I think that falls into 2 categories. One is they're looking to be seen or heard. They feel overlooked, which means they feel undervalued. And that can happen in the workplace, right? We've all been in meetings where, it's happened to me hundreds of times. Why I wrote the book. I say something, everybody looks around and doesn't say it. 2 minutes later, someone repeats what I said, and everyone in the room says, "Great idea." And I'm like, "I just did that." Then I become annoying. "What are you talking about?" Then I start a whole fight. "I just did that. Why can't my department do it? I just said it," right? That's annoying. But I didn't feel heard. I didn't feel seen, right? The second thing is sometimes they just want a reaction, right? I have another catchphrase that says, your reactions speak louder than your actions. Sometimes they just want to get you riled. Maybe they want your job. Maybe they want what you're doing. Maybe they just don't like you. Who knows, right? What's going on with them, their mirrors, their things. But sometimes they just want to get you to react. And, I have to admit, there's a third category. There are really clueless people out there. They don't even know what they're doing. When I started this work years ago, we didn't have the same tool we have now, the camera phone, right? Now, I actually, with permission, sometimes sit in on an executive team meeting with the people I'm coaching, and I take a video of them. And at first, everyone's on best behavior because we're taking a video, but very quickly they forget, and I can show them exactly how they talk to their staff that maybe isn't what they mean. It's not, nasty. It's not immoral, incompetent, or unethical. But, why didn't you get that to me? Or we talked about this 5 times, or they repeat the same question. I'm still waiting for that report. I'm still waiting for that report. I'm still waiting for that report. And they don't see their own actions. So we have really good tools now to get people to understand what they do to other people that might cause that reaction.
Right, right. So annoying people are not all that bad if we look in a different perspective. One perspective is that if they are trying to say something to you or want to be heard. So sometimes, it can be a good way of getting feedback from people actually who want to share their feedback. And if we look at it from a outside perspective, we were talking about isms earlier on. Before this, when we look at it from a democracy point of view, when people start wanting to get the attention of the leadership and the leadership is sleeping, that might, whatever they do, that might annoy the establishment, but actually they are trying to bring to attention some things to the mind of the administration. At that point in time, perhaps, it is a good thing to annoy the administration and actually be heard. This is what annoyance may, if I understand it correctly, Eileen, you will be the best person to say so.
Oh, I think that was beautiful. I like to talk about a little pebble in our shoe. We've all had a little pebble in our shoe, right? And it's a little annoyance, right? At first you feel it and you say, oh, it'll flatten out, it'll flatten out. But eventually you can't walk 2 steps without a sharp pain. And
Absolutely.
sometimes people serve that purpose, and it's important. Is my shoe fitting right? Is this work right? Annoyances, it doesn't mean that something's wrong. It's an opportunity, like everything else in life, to stop and do a check. Am I in the right place? Am I treating people right? What else is going around here? What is the universe trying to tell me that I might not be seeing, right? So, I live in a beautiful part of the country. Sometimes you get a pebble in your shoe, you walk, then you're stuck in the woods. You say, I'm not going to be able to walk back. You take the pebble out, you sit down on a rock, and all of a sudden you see, like a little frog or something that you wouldn't have seen before. And it's the same thing in the workplace. When you slow me down, I have to look at something I didn't see before. Sometimes it's a number on a balance sheet. Sometimes it's something on the production floor. Sometimes it's something about my competitor. Maybe they're thinking that. It's not about why is this happening to me? It's like, what is the universe trying to tell me? Why is it happening for me? So annoyances, as annoying as they are a message to stop, reassess, reset.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what about Eileen, managing annoying me? If I start, coming into my own way, how does that work? Because it is very important. You always look outside. You look at other people's. Never look inside, either in terms of understanding ourselves, either in terms of asking the best questions that are possible and getting the best answers. Lord Buddha did this and he got his answers, from the universe. In the same way, how do I know that, I am annoying myself and sabotaging my success?
We have a very simple test in the US that we do. When I have one finger pointing at you, I have three pointing back at me. Do you use that in India? Do you say that?
It is a universal saying.
It's universal. So there you go. It's universal. And it's a universal human condition. As soon as I'm pointing my finger at you, I'm not looking at what I'm doing. And why do we do that? It's so much easier to say, she did it. It's over there. It's out of my control. It's not my fault. But the bottom line is, as soon as we start hearing that language, that's one of the assessing things. What am I not accepting? What am I not seeing? We have to look at ourselves. And in my, study and working with leadership and, over probably close to 200 to 300 organizations in the last, over my time and different leaders, you know, change doesn't happen until we look within. It comes from within. It really is an inside job. We started this conversation with, who has to stop it? How does it, what happens? And I said, it has to be the leader. That's why they're the leader. Someone is in charge. And if the leader doesn't have that ability, they should not be the leader. But you have to be able to look it in and say, what am I not doing here? Why am I reacting this way? Because, when I'm the leader and I react this way, we talked about sitting around the table. How does toxic culture start? I roll my eyes. Everybody else rolls their eyes. I started it. So if I say, look, this is not optimal. I don't like the way this person shows up. And talk to them about they're setting themselves up to be made fun of, but don't roll my eyes. So managing annoying me is about understanding our own emotions, how we show up, how we take what's personal and not make it professional and make it everyone else's problem. So it's really about learning the lessons and the patterns that have kept us stuck from reaching our highest potential. And especially as C-suiters, people in charge of the leadership team or team leaders, if we're not showing up as our best self, we are not helping anyone else to do that either. Because, as one goes, it all goes. And that is also the truth of humans. We get stuck in those circles.
Absolutely, absolutely. There is much to learn about all these concepts, and it's much more difficult to understand ourselves. And that is where, it is always better to get that outside perspective where people can, actually, the right people, the right friends, family will be able to point out all those things. But another help that can come from is the book that you have written, Managing Annoying People. So tell us about the book. What is in that book? And who is this book for?
This book, it's so funny. I love to talk about this. I wrote this book before, everyone was a best-selling author and could be a best-selling author. But I got a review last week and he said, this book stunk. I read it in an hour and it was all about annoying people. And it basically kept on saying, focus on myself. And I'm like, oh my God, he exactly got the book, right? Even though he gave me a very bad review. The book is about how you find yourself in everyday situations that do exactly what we said. They make you act not nicely. They make you, kind of take you out of, steal your time, zap your energy, make you not be the boss and the leader you want to be. So the book takes everything from planning meetings to showing up with reports to working on your factory floor. How do you show up and say, wait, let me reassess, let me stop. How can I do this differently? Because really, managing annoying people and managing yourself is all about shifting your perspective. Take it away from what exactly you said, like, why is there a power struggle? Why are people doing this? They want to be heard or they're trying to show you something, and take you back to, what do I need to see? And the book gives you some tools to do that. I like to say, the first thing you always need to do is pause and get some breathing room, right? Because like I said, your reactions speak louder than your actions. And when we come out fighting or running or freezing, we're not really dealing with what we're supposed to do, the situation. So the first step, and it's so hard in the moment, is always to say, wait a minute, I'm being annoyed. What is the universe telling me? And that, the book gives you some ways and ideas on how to deal with that and how to stop in the moment. And I'll give you one small trick. The simplest way to get out of, when you're stuck in that with someone, if you're fighting, is to smile, right? We're fighting and all of a sudden I smile and they're like, the other person gets disarmed. Wait. And all of a sudden, I would say, smile. You're smiling now. Your whole body feels different when you smile. So a simple smile, and I say maybe not so simple. I call it smile like you have a secret, like the famous painting, the Mona Lisa. What was she thinking? What was going on there? Take it out of that moment so that everybody's like, wait, let's refocus and stop that struggle to reset. It's really important.
Right, right. As I said, there is much to learn. So how can people connect with you, learn from you, and also professionally engage with you, to learn about all these things?
I love all those things. I love to talk. You can go to my website, which is alignedworkplace.com. You can link me in. I love LinkedIn, right? Ilene Marcus at LinkedIn. And you can just type in managing annoying people. I hope it works in India. You tell me, AJ. But in America, if you type in managing annoying people, up I pop. So, it's really a lot of ways to find me. And I love to talk to people about what they're seeing and to help them see something differently. It's really that clear. Like you said, see what's going on around you. I call it look at your BS, which is your blind spots. Look at what you can't see. We all have one place in our car, in our lives behind us that we just can't see what's going on. So work with someone else so you can see it, so you could show up less annoying to be your best self.
Absolutely. Absolutely. My last question to you, Ilene, is, how do you manage to maintain such a happy attitude towards life? You have faced so many difficult things in your life, including, surviving a rare cancer at 39. People say you start living your life at 40, at 39, you survive that. A lot of other things. So I want to understand, what is the secret of all this happiness around that you build here? It is very, infectious. Even I feel so good about it all through from the US to India. So I can understand what in infectious way you are impacting people positively around you. I want to understand, and through you, what would you like to say to people, especially women who are getting more into the workforce?
Yeah, I think, it's really a mindset. We talked about it before. Don't look at why this is happening to me. Look at why this is happening for me. And that goes back to something Albert Einstein said. And we all know Albert Einstein was a genius. But Albert Einstein said there are two ways to live life. Two ways. One way is that nothing is a miracle, and the other way is to see everything as a miracle. And that's how I see it. It's a miracle we're connecting. It's a miracle we're talking. It's a miracle that, we had a great conversation. It's a miracle I wrote a book. It's a miracle we woke up today. It's a miracle the birds are singing outside. And it's a miracle that I get blessed to go and have a job, that I get paid, that I get to make a difference in the world. It's all a miracle. And the more you practice seeing that, the more excited you become about it. So I think it's really, it's more than the glass being half full, right? It's about my place, that I'm where I should be. I'm contributing what I should. And I have the chance to have all these exciting things to help others. And everyone does that. I like to say, whether you drink coffee, AJ? Do you drink coffee?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
me and my coffee. Whether you are growing the coffee, harvesting the coffee, roasting the coffee, serving the coffee, trucking the coffee, cleaning up after the coffee, buying the coffee, every single person in that equation is important, or we wouldn't have coffee. We wouldn't have coffee makers. So no matter who you are and where you are, you have a very valuable role to play. And it's your choice to show up with a smile on your face or to show up annoyed. You choose who you want to be. You choose how you want to live your life. I choose, even when I'm annoying, to show up with a smile on my face, to be here, to be able to be part of the world I'm in now. So that's where it comes from. It's a choice.
On this note, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KAJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for
Thank
joining us.
you. Great.